A blue alien-like creature appears and introduces himself as Lilby. He belongs to a species with extremely flexible bodies, allowing them to adapt to different gravitational environments. Lilby works as a delver, mining the various byproducts that form inside holes in space. Many people avoid this dangerous occupation because one wrong move can wipe out their entire existence, but Lilby takes pride in his work. The scene then shifts to a translucent monitor screen showing Earth. Lilby notices that a job has opened there and thinks the pay looks pretty good. He wonders if he should apply. The scene shifts to Earth's mountains. Lilby explains that he has stopped by Earth to deal with a hole that has opened there. Holes that form on planets can be dangerous because animals might accidentally fall inside, so they have to be properly managed. As Lilby travels toward Earth with the other delvers, another alien notices that he is struggling with the planet's gravity and asks if he is all right. Lilby apologizes, but the alien tells him not to worry. Even with the suit pressure adjusted, some delvers simply do not get along with Earth's gravity. He then decides to give Lilby some medicine later. After arriving, the team is given a 10-minute break and told not to wander too far. Everyone takes the opportunity to relax and adjust to their surroundings. By the time they land, Lilby's motion sickness has finally started to ease. That is when he notices something in the distance. A broken tree is blocking part of the river, and behind it sits a basket. Lilby stares at it, wondering what it is doing there. Before he can investigate, the team leader calls everyone back to work. Lilby gets inside the spaceship and heads into the hole with the others. Even while working, he cannot stop thinking about the basket. He has no idea what is inside it, but for some reason, the sight of it refuses to leave his mind. Once the job is finished, the team prepares to leave. Before departing, Lilby looks back toward the river one more time. The basket is still there, but now it is sinking. Lilby struggles with what to do. If he stops the cargo, he could cause trouble for everyone. He knows the team is supposed to leave, yet he cannot bring himself to ignore what he saw. His feelings finally take over. Lilby suddenly jumps from his seat and tells the others to wait for a moment before rushing outside. He runs toward the river and reaches the basket just before it disappears beneath the water. When he opens it, he is shocked by what he finds. There is a little girl inside. The baby is sleeping peacefully as water leaks into the basket around her. This is the first time Lilby meets Lily. Later, the story shifts to another day on the moon, where Lilby and his team are once again working inside the holes. One of the blue aliens looks at their progress and praises the haul. If they go a little deeper, they could potentially mine 3 times the usual amount, so he tells everyone to make sure nobody misses the opportunity. But Lilby checks his watch. He apologizes and says he is heading out. The other delvers cannot understand why he would leave when such a valuable opportunity is right in front of them. They question when he will ever get another chance like this and eventually decide to let him go. Lilby quickly returns to the ship, removes his suit, and hurries home. When he finally arrives, Lily is waiting for him. She has grown a little since the first time he found her, and she is crying. Lilby immediately apologizes for being late and tells her they should eat together. He then checks her vitals and is relieved to see that her lungs and heart are healthy. The change in her oxygen saturation is most likely from crying, and Lily continues getting healthier day by day. As he plays with her, Lilby happily calls her his precious little star. A caretaker then approaches and welcomes him home. Lilby thanks the caretaker for looking after Lily, but the caretaker tells him not to mention it. Lilby takes care of her just as much as they do. The caretaker then jokes about how Lilby seems to spend all day attached to the little monster. Lilby smiles and points out that the caretaker has clearly gotten used to Lily as well. The caretaker agrees, admitting that Lily is something special. Other species cannot even tell the blue aliens apart, yet Lily somehow recognizes them immediately. Whenever the person she knows appears, she stops crying. Lilby is delighted by this and hugs her close. The caretaker then remembers that a delivery arrived earlier. They open the box together and find the drink Lilby ordered along with some fabric-making materials. The caretaker is confused and asks why Lilby ordered fabric when their species does not even wear clothes. Lilby explains that he ordered it for Lily. He wants to make her some pretty outfits of her own. From that point on, Lilby begins taking even more care of Lily. While she sleeps, he works on making clothes for her, carefully measuring her size and figuring out the proper fit. Then he returns to work and eventually comes home again, only to find Lily crying and the exhausted caretaker struggling to calm her down. But the moment Lily sees Lilby, her expression changes. She becomes happy, and Lilby is just as happy to see her. The two enjoy each other's company, and their bond continues to grow. As Lilby looks at the little girl he once rescued from that sinking basket, a simple question crosses his mind. What are you even going to do with yourself? The question from the previous night continues to haunt Lilby. The other blue aliens had openly asked what he planned to do with Lily. She was human after all, and they wondered whether he was really prepared to let her leave someday. They questioned whether keeping her close was selfish. Was Lilby planning to keep her confined forever? Was he becoming too attached? What would he do when the time came to separate? And perhaps the hardest question of all, was Lily really as happy as he was? They even wondered whether Lilby's tiny room was slowly becoming the entirety of Lily's world. Those questions replay in his mind while he is on another mission. Suddenly, one of his companions wakes him. Lilby is breathing heavily. The other alien asks whether he had a nightmare. Lilby admits that he did. The alien immediately understands. It's because of what the others said before. A flashback shows one of the blue aliens asking Lilby what he is really planning to do. Another reminds him not to keep everything bottled up. Lilby is their team's ace, and it would be a waste for him to lose himself over this. He also asks whether Lilby honestly looks happy. But before the conversation can go any further, the break ends. It's time to return to work. The two continue walking across the surface of the moon when someone suddenly shouts that there is a problem. Lilby immediately rushes back. One of the delvers has been injured during the expedition. His hand was pulled into the gravitational field too quickly. Thankfully, the damage isn't severe. Lilby asks how long it will take for the injured cells to recover. Around 6 months to a year. Another delver points out that they were incredibly lucky. If his hand had been pulled too far or too quickly, the cells might not have regenerated at all. The injured alien simply accepts it. That's the kind of risk that comes with their work. His friend then jokes that if he ever gets completely wiped out, he'll clean out his entire account for him. He'll even drink all the man's liquor. The injured alien immediately protests. Was that seriously his idea of friendship? He thought the guy was going to offer actual sympathy, not steal his alcohol. Even while they joke around, Lilby's thoughts are somewhere else. Their work is incredibly dangerous. Any of them could disappear forever because of one mistake. Later, Lilby returns home. The caretaker tells him Lily has just fallen asleep. He enters the room and finds the little girl sleeping peacefully, tears still visible in her eyes. Lilby sits beside her. He gently touches her hand, then her feet, and carefully wipes away the tears from her face. Eventually, he lies down beside her. After some time, Lilby hands Lily over to the one-eyed alien who helps care for her. The alien explains something important. Humans apparently do not remember much from their infancy or earliest childhood. Lilby listens quietly. Then he asks him to take good care of her. Even after Lily leaves his side, Lilby doesn't stop thinking about her. He keeps checking her vital signs whenever he can. And when he receives a bonus from work, he tells his friends exactly what he plans to spend it on. More toys for Lily. He also continues making clothes for her, even though some of the outfits are extremely difficult to create because of her unusual size. To Lilby, that only makes the effort more worthwhile. Then one day, the caretaker calls him. She asks why he hasn't stayed at work longer. Lilby has surprising news. Lily's photograph is finally coming. He had requested one after being told that a picture could be sent if he applied for it. Now the photo is finally being delivered, and Lilby has already taken half a day off just to see it. The caretaker immediately complains that he should have told her earlier. She could have taken a photograph herself. How could Lilby possibly forget what Lily looks like after only half a year? Lilby reminds her that she only recently returned from leave, and he only received the message that day. Then comes a knock at the door. Lilby's eyes widen. It's here. A parcel slides through the entrance. Lilby immediately grabs it and rushes to his room. The walls are already covered with photographs and memories of Lily. Nearby, several dresses he made for her are hanging up. He opens the package. Inside is the photograph. Lilby carefully lifts it out. And when he sees Lily smiling happily while wearing beautiful clothes, his expression softens. He simply stares at the picture. Beside him, he continues working on another difficult outfit for her. Everything in the room remains exactly as Lily left it. Even the basket in which he first found her is still there. Lilby looks at the photograph again. Then his expression turns sad. From that day onward, the news about Lily stops coming. Time passes. Lilby throws himself even deeper into his work. After another expedition, two delvers discuss him behind his back. They are amazed by how much material he has already mined. Lilby's skills have improved dramatically over the past few years. At this rate, one of them says, he's becoming a complete workaholic. Another remembers the time Lilby went extremely deep into a hole without even performing a proper scan beforehand. Just watching him that day had been terrifying. Unknown to them, another Delver is standing nearby and hears the entire conversation. Later, Lilby returns home. He removes his suit and checks the monitor. A notification appears. The transfer has been completed. Lilby's eyes widen. He stares at the screen in disbelief. One of the aliens, Upo, enters Lilby's room and casually asks whether he wants a drink. He claims he has some absolutely fantastic alcohol. But Lilby is more concerned about something else. He turns toward the caretaker and asks whether she sent something using his account. She admits that she did. She had sent some clothes to the address written on the desk because she was told they could be forwarded to Lily. Lilby immediately grabs the screen and checks what was sent. Then his expression changes. "What have you done?" The caretaker is confused. She points out that he made those clothes for Lily anyway. He had even spent so much time practicing those little frills and other details. Lilby snaps. How could she send them without even asking him first? Did she understand what she had just done? The caretaker finally loses her patience too. She admits that she sent them because she was frustrated. Very frustrated. She had watched Lilby hide all of Lily's belongings inside the deepest boxes in the room. If he couldn't bring himself to throw them away or send them somewhere else, then why was he holding on to everything? And did Lilby ever ask her before sending Lily away? She missed Lily too. That little monster had become important to her as well. At the very least, she deserved a chance to say goodbye. What does she know? Lily needs to grow up happy. She shouldn't have to carry miserable memories of being raised inside a cramped little room. The caretaker reminds him that humans don't remember much from infancy or their earliest years. Lily should have been given happy memories instead. Lilby angrily grabs the caretaker's collar. He demands to know how she thinks he felt when he had to send Lily away. He believes she has ruined everything. The two begin struggling inside the room. But beneath Lilby's anger is something much deeper. Fear. He isn't only angry because the caretaker acted without telling him. He's terrified that Lily might one day remember that someone abandoned her. A memory of Lily waiting for him at the edge of the bed flashes through his mind. What if she remembers him leaving? What if she carries that memory with her? What if she eventually comes to resent him? After their argument ends, Lilby sits quietly inside the room. His eyes drift toward the boxes where all of Lily's belongings have been stored. He opens one. Inside is the basket where he first found her. He carefully takes it out and looks inside. Everything has been neatly preserved. The caretaker even organized Lily's belongings by date. Lilby finds the photograph taken at the care facility, along with her health records documenting her condition up until recently. Then he starts reading, and his expression slowly changes. While Lilby was trying to distance himself from Lily and force himself to forget her, the records reveal something horrifying. Lily had been slowly growing weaker. She had been deteriorating while he was away. Later, Lilby visits Mori's caretakers and explains everything that happened. He tells them that no matter how many times he tried to reach them, he couldn't get through. Ryder listens and realizes this must have happened around the time Shalom entered division. Lilby admits that Lily being so frail even as a newborn feels like his fault. If he had checked on her sooner, if he had taken Lily with him, maybe things would have been different. Now he's terrified that something might happen to her before he ever gets the chance to see her again. He begs them for help. He knows how selfish the request sounds, but he desperately wants to see Lily one more time with his own eyes. Maria listens carefully. For a moment, she considers the possibility that Nepal may have sent Lilby's story for a reason. But she still doesn't know whether Lilby has some other intention beyond simply seeing Lily. Ryder interrupts that thought. How can they be sure Lilby won't simply take the child and disappear with her? Lilby immediately rejects the idea. He would never do something that reckless. Ryder quietly points out that he was actually considering exactly that himself. Lilby lowers his gaze. Lily was so young when they separated that she probably doesn't even remember him. Maybe it would be better if she didn't. Mariah then explains why bringing Lilby into Shalom's domain won't be easy. Ever since Shalom entered division, the authority over his territory has belonged to the judges. Nepal currently handles the administration, while Miria's side has only been granted limited passage rights. The number of people allowed to enter is restricted, and entering the protection facility would likely require additional approval. If Lilby were to officially enter under Miria's supervision, the procedure would also take time. Miria looks at Lilby. She can see how much his body and condition have deteriorated over the past few years. Humans are fragile, especially when they're young, and she remembers her own vision of Mori growing old in her arms. After thinking for a while, Maria finally stands. She tells Lilby to give her some time. She will look for a way to make it possible. Then she turns toward Ryder and asks him to show Lilby the room where he used to stay. Ryder agrees, but as they prepare to leave, something immediately catches their attention. Mori isn't with them. The little boy is nearby. He suddenly sees Lilby. Lilby turns. Before he can understand what is happening, Mori rushes over. Lilby catches him and stares down in confusion, but Mori is absolutely thrilled to see him. Mori suddenly climbs onto Lilby's head. Ryder and Miria are both shocked. Ryder immediately calls out to Mori, demanding that he get down. Lilby, however, calmly tells him that it's fine. He looks at Mori and notices something sparkling on the little boy's hand. It is stardust. Lilby explains that because of the work he does, stardust keeps getting on him no matter how much he tries to brush it off. Mori is fascinated by the sparkling dust. Meanwhile, several others are listening from behind the door. The chef admits that thinking about what Mori went through makes him feel sad, and he also wishes they could see Lily. The maid agrees that the situation is complicated. Annie then asks whether they could simply invite Lily to the mansion. The maid immediately points out the problem. Mori was already judged even when he entered the mansion of his own free will, so there is no way the matter can simply be ignored. Another possibility would be for Mori to personally invite Lily as a friend, but proving that they didn't arrange the meeting themselves would be incredibly difficult. The chef adds that, in practice, it would still be considered orchestration. Before they can continue the conversation, the door starts opening. The maid and chef immediately run away. Ryder steps outside and notices Annie nearby. He asks what she's doing there. Annie simply tells him that he should speak a little louder next time. Ryder immediately realizes that she had been eavesdropping. Later that night, Lilby prepares to sleep in the mansion. Ryder enters and brings him a new blanket. He tells Lilby that if he needs anything, he only has to ask. Lilby looks at the blanket and says he already has far more than enough. He also admits that he never expected Ryder to agree to help him. Ryder acknowledges that. After all, one wrong move could turn the entire situation into a serious headache for them. He then explains why Miria was willing to help. Lilby is shocked and asks what Ryder means. Ryder explains that after meeting the judge in person, he understood the situation. The judge's power was not some simple illusion. For that brief moment, Miria must have witnessed the very end of Mori's life. Ryder apologizes, but he has to put his own child first. He also reminds Lilby that he asked Miria about it earlier while she was helping him. According to Miria, Mori was smiling at her during that final moment. Lilby says nothing. Later, inside Miria's room, she sits beside the sleeping Mori while looking through documents. Lilby walks in and tells her there is something he needs to say. The next day, Miria shows everyone something Lilby brought. Ryder asks what it is. She explains that it was made from crushed run-run fruit. Ryder immediately recognizes it as the fruit Mori loves. Mariah confirms that it is. Lilby explains why he brought it. Whenever Lily's health began getting worse, he never knew what to do. Then he heard that run-run fruit was good for the body. He spent an entire month paying for it. When Lily's condition improved so quickly, he kept giving it to her whenever she became ill. He was worried that the fruit might be a prohibited item, so he never mentioned it before. Ryder realizes what must have happened. Lilby came to meet them in person so he could secretly hand it over. Miria then gets an idea. Humans have a tendency to attach meaning to specific dates, and a holiday for children is approaching. Children's Day. Apparently, Shalom's side used to take the lead in sending gifts for events like this from time to time. But Shalom's only remaining representative in the domain is Nepal, and he is far too busy. Miria explains that they sent a proposal asking whether they could handle the event themselves. Nepal gave them full approval. So she proposes holding a small Children's Day event. They can wear animal costumes that the children will enjoy, make snacks using run-run fruit, and hand out gifts. Jeel and another large member are excluded because they might look too intimidating to the children. The event will instead be carried out under the leadership of Ryder and Nepal, with temporary additional personnel already approved. As for Lilby, Miria explains that he's been hired as a temporary transport worker. Lilby is shocked. He clenches his fist. Later that night, Lilby sits at the desk reading a book. Annie suddenly appears behind him. Lilby is startled. Annie immediately apologizes, explaining that she forgot to knock. Lilby tells her it's fine. Annie notices the book and says that it is for learning the human language. Lilby explains that Miria gave it to him as a gift. He isn't sure how useful it will be to start learning now, but Annie interrupts. Why does he say that? Lily remembers him. Lilby immediately says he has no such expectation. Annie then offers another possibility. If having a full conversation is difficult, a letter is perfectly fine too. The letter Miria sent is still one of Mori's greatest treasures, so Annie suggests that they practice writing together. She asks Lilby one question. If he were to meet Lily, what is the one thing he would most want to say to her? Lilby thinks about it. The next day, Ryder returns through the portal. He reports that Mori has successfully gone into the preschool. Maria is relieved. Then she begins preparing everyone for the event, reminding them not to forget the snacks and mascot costumes. Lilby and Ryder get ready to enter the portal. But before they leave, Maria gives Lilby one important warning. There is one condition. For the sake of the children, she wants a safeguard in place for any unforeseen circumstances. Starting from the portal Mori uses, a powerful gravitational distortion will be created around it. The barrier will have no effect on anyone else, but it will affect Lilby. The distortion will become stronger the closer he gets to the portal. And if he comes into contact with a human child other than Mori, the effect will become even more dangerous. The moment Lilby attempts to cross that boundary with another human child, every cell in his body will be broken down and cease to exist. Miria makes the warning completely clear. Lilby must never cross that door together with Lily. With those instructions given, Lilby and Ryder proceed. Soon, they are standing just outside the preschool. Maria's final warning still echoes in Lilby's mind. He must not cross that limit. Ryder and Lilby are greeted by Nepal outside the preschool. Nepal smiles and tells Ryder that it has been a while, then asks how he has been doing. After exchanging a few words, Nepal turns toward the maid and asks about the supplies they brought. She explains that they brought the mascot costumes. Nepal thanks them and adds that they even brought his costume. Ryder looks at the costumes and asks whether they should put them on there since they are part of the Star class while Nepal and the others belong to the Moon class. Lilby barely responds. His attention is fixed on the preschool in the distance. He simply stares at the building where Lily is. Meanwhile, Ryder and Nepal casually discuss the weather. It looks like rain is coming. Inside the preschool, the teacher gathers the children and explains that today is a special day. She asks the Star class if they know what day it is. The children happily answer. Children's Day. The teacher confirms it and tells them that some friends from the Forest Kingdom have come to visit. She happily invites them inside. The door opens. 3 enormous figures enter the classroom wearing animal costumes. The teacher freezes. She expected friends from the Forest Kingdom, but these 3 look incredibly intimidating. The children have a completely different reaction. They are fascinated. Instead of being frightened, they happily stare at the colorful animal costumes. Among them is Mori. The little boy notices the fox. Ryder. Mori immediately raises his hand and says something that sounds surprisingly close to Ryder's name. Ryder freezes inside his costume. There is no way Mori just recognized him through the entire outfit. He quickly reminds himself that, for now, he's just a wild animal. A fox. Behind Ryder is the bear, Lilby. But while the other children are excited about the visitors, Lilby isn't paying attention to them. His gaze moves across the classroom. Then he sees her. Lily. She has grown since the last time he saw her. Lilby stands there silently, staring at his daughter from inside the bear costume. After everything that happened, this is finally the first time he's standing in front of Lily again. Then Nepal, wearing the bunny costume, calls out to him. He asks whether they should begin handing out the gifts. Lilby quietly agrees. The 3 mascots begin moving around the classroom and giving presents to the children. The kids happily receive their gifts. But one child remains alone. Lily. She stands apart from the others, looking uncomfortable and unhappy. After a moment, she turns away from the group and walks toward the corner of the classroom. Lilby notices immediately. He slowly makes his way over and sits beside her. Lily looks at the strange bear sitting next to her. Lilby gently offers her a gift. But instead of taking it immediately, Lily asks whether he is a friend of Mori's mother. Lilby stays quiet. Lily looks at the bear and the gift in his hands, then admits that she doesn't really want it. Lilby tries to encourage her. He tells her that the gift is meant to help her grow big and strong. Lily reluctantly takes the box. But almost immediately, she throws it away. Then she looks up at Lilby with fear. Something is clearly wrong. The teacher notices Lily's reaction and quickly rushes over. She gently tells Lily not to be scared and asks her to breathe slowly. Lilby can only sit there, confused and concerned. The teacher decides that Lily should go to the nurse's office. She carefully takes the little girl away. Lilby remains behind, staring after them. Outside, the sky has become darker. The weather is getting worse and rain is beginning to approach. Ryder notices what happened and calls out to Lilby. Lilby finally turns toward him. He admits that he may have caused an accident by getting carried away. He decides it would be better if he left before making the situation worse. Lilby begins packing up the things he brought for the event. Then he walks away from the classroom. Ryder watches him go. Outside the preschool, Lilby walks alone. His mind goes back to the day he first found Lily. She had been so tiny back then. And now, after all this time, she probably doesn't even remember him. Maybe that is better. Maybe Lily should not have to carry the memory of someone who eventually left her. Then Lilby remembers something Annie once told him. Lily may still remember him. That thought tears through him. His eyes fill with tears. Even though he had convinced himself that Lily didn't remember him, deep down, he had always hoped she would. He keeps walking as tears fall onto the grass beneath his feet. Back inside the preschool, Lily looks out through the window. Something catches her attention. Tiny, sparkling drops are visible on the grass outside. She looks closer. They aren't rain. They're tears. Lily realizes someone outside is crying. And without hesitation, the little girl runs out of the classroom, following the trail of sparkling tears toward the person who made them. Seeing the sparkling tears on the grass triggers something deep inside Lily. A memory from when she was still a tiny baby resurfaces. She remembers a man who was always there for her, Lilby. Realizing who the tears belong to, Lily quickly runs after him. Meanwhile, Lilby continues walking, thinking about the fact that he is crying and how the emotional strain is making everything feel even worse. He tells himself that it would probably be better to turn back before things become more complicated. Then, he stops. Lilby turns around. Lily is standing right behind him. Before he can even say her name, the gravitational pressure from the boundary suddenly begins affecting his body. Lilby drops to his knees. The warning Miria gave him comes rushing back. If he and Lily cross the wrong boundary together, his body will be completely broken down. He forces himself to stay calm. Then he looks at the little girl in front of him. Lily. The moment she hears his voice, Lily rushes forward and starts hitting him with her tiny hands. How could he do this? She says it again through her tears. How could he leave her like that? Lilby notices something alarming. Her hands are beginning to bruise from hitting him. He quickly removes himself from his suit and gently grabs her hands to stop her. Lily looks at him. Then she starts crying even harder. Lilby instinctively takes a step back. Lily asks why he never came to see her. Then she says something that cuts directly into the reason behind all his guilt. Maybe it's because Lily isn't a little star anymore. A memory flashes through her mind. She is standing in front of a mirror wearing one of the dresses Lilby made for her. The teacher tells her that she can't wear it anymore. She has grown too much. The dress no longer fits. Back in the present, Lily cries and asks whether Lilby hates her now. She doesn't want to grow any bigger. Lilby immediately pulls out the papers he prepared before meeting her. One of the pages reminds him of the question Annie once asked. What is the one thing he most wants to say to Lily? He had written down everything he couldn't bring himself to say. I'm sorry, I miss you, I love you. But there was one thing more important than all of them. A memory returns of Lilby explaining that even if Lily hated him for the rest of her life, that was fine. All he wanted was for her to get better. Lilby holds up the paper in front of Lily. His words echo through the moment. He only wanted her to become healthy. Written clearly on the page are two simple words. No sick. Lily sees them. Her tears continue flowing. The words remind her of the time when she was still a baby and Lilby was always beside her. Lilby begins crying too. The two finally sit together on the grass and embrace. At the same time, Nepal explains the situation to Miria. He has received the documents. The staff from the shelter have reviewed everything and thank him for the explanation. They understand where Lilby's guilt comes from, but the medical records reveal that there was a serious misunderstanding. According to the records Lilby meticulously kept from the moment Lily was found, her expected lifespan had originally been only around 3 weeks. Yet during the time Lilby wasn't working, he constantly held Lily in his arms. Their species has an unusually high capacity for healing, so the shelter believes Lily's recovery was most likely connected to Lilby's presence rather than the run-based treatment alone. They also explain why Lily's health later deteriorated. She had been refusing to eat whenever Lilby wasn't there. Because of that, they believe Lily and Lilby would actually be healthier if they were allowed to remain together. The arbiter is also reviewing the case favorably. Nepal remains optimistic that an official meeting can be arranged soon. Back at the shelter, Lily receives a box. Inside is another dress Lilby made for her. The dress sparkles beautifully, almost like the stars in the galaxy. One of the children looks at it in amazement and says, "It looks like a princess dress." Another notices that it appears a little too large. The teacher smiles and tells Lily that she'll simply have to grow into it. Lily blushes. She puts on the dress and stands in front of the mirror. For the first time, she feels happy about growing. She is getting healthier. Far away on the moon, Lilby looks down toward Earth. Then the caretaker calls out to him, "It's time to go." Lilby smiles softly.